What's up, everybody? This is an update video on the Coleman B200RSV. A few of you have asked me for like a long-term kind of review on how it's been. I've owned this bike for about roughly a year, and when I first got it, it was great. Didn't really have too many issues with it. I like the fact that it had torque converter, headlight, suspension, disc brakes. It was awesome. I think it was well worth the money. You know, they clock in basically like right about $1,000. You can get some discounts, and you know they run them on sale every once in a while. But for roughly about $1,000, you can pick this up, and I think it's a great buy. After owning it for a while and talking to a few people that also own them, I noticed there was a pattern, and that some people have been experiencing some issues with vibration. I haven't had these major issues that others have had, but I think after talking to a few people, we've kind of narrowed it down to a few key things, one of which is probably the most noteworthy, I would say, is the jack shaft itself. Most guys that are getting into the mini bike world and stuff like that, when they come factory, a lot of the ones that you get brand new, they don't come with a torque converter. I know a lot of them do, so you know, but some of them don't. They come with like a chain jack shaft setup with a centrifugal clutch. Those engage way different than a torque converter does. There's a little bit of a stall to a torque converter. They can be tuned a little bit to make them engage a little bit softer, a little bit harder. So getting used to a torque converter in general is a learning curve for some people. They're not used to it. The other thing is that jack shaft that I was talking about. So down here on the RSVs, there is a jack shaft that is mounted, hard mounted to the frame. The bearings that are inside that jack shaft tend to be, a lot of guys are experiencing pulling them apart, and they're not greased, and they're very dry. They get locked up, and they start grinding away, and I think that's when you're getting that high-pitched kind of vibration. If you take that apart, you can either get new bearings and replace them. You can get actually better bearings, because the stock ones aren't the best, so there's definitely upgraded bearings you can get. Or you can, if you catch it early, you can pull the bearings. They have a little rubber seal, like a dust seal. You can pull the dust seal off, grease those up, slap the dust seal back in, put it all back together, and you should be good to go. That should definitely help you with your vibration issue. Another one to note is the stock 196. Obviously, I don't have a stock 196 anymore. I've upgraded to the Wildcat 240. But the stock engines, if you know anything about pulling these little motors apart, the crankshafts can have a little bit of end play. So the crank will actually kind of move back and forth a little bit. You can upgrade your side cover, and then like the ARC side covers, they come with shims to help prevent that, and the motor should run a little bit smoother, rotate a little bit nicer, and you won't get so much vibration. I think those things will help you immensely. Another thing that you can check for vibrations is, I've personally had this issue, not on this bike, but on another bike. Check your wheel bearings. It's the same thing as the jack shaft bearings. They can be dry, not greased. You can pull the dust seals out, grease them up, slap them back in, should be good to go. If not, you can always get replacement bearings. So keep an eye on that, because on my other RT200, I did have locked up wheel bearings, which was causing me a little bit of a vibration issue. Other than that, stock, they're great. You can hop on them, they'll fire up, run really good, and you can have a whole lot of fun and actually be in some comfort because you have that rear suspension. On this particular bike, I've gone a little crazy on it. Some people have done more, but this is what I've done. We'll start at the top here. I added some grips. Stock ones are terrible, so I added some grips. I added a bar brace. I added some bar risers. I added a cowl, it's pretty much just for looks. I just like the look of it. And obviously it broke. In the front end here, I added 2.5-inch spacers inside to lift the front end up to match the big old beefy rear end. The rear end itself, I was able to speak with Rob Morse. Shout out Rob Morse. He makes a kit to relocate the swing arm so that you can run these larger kind of reservoir style shocks. These are 320 mil, which gives you way more travel than the stock shocks do, and you can set the preload, you can adjust the dampening on these ones. It's great. I love it. It's been awesome, and I'm a big boy. I'm 270 pounds, and this handles way better. Other things I've added, well, obviously the Wildcat 240. One thing these bikes are lacking in is definitely power. Once you get used to riding them, you're going to want more power. You can go so many different ways. You can go 212, you can do a car, you can do a Tillotson, you can do so many things. This was the route that I went. I went out and got the new Wildcat 240RS. You can pick them up at EC Carbs. I'm still getting used to this one, still dialing it in. I've been tinkering around, wanted to change some things. I made my own custom tank. I'm a TIG welder by trade, so this is a 1.5 gallon tank, which is a pretty good capacity over stock. I also upgraded to these Sun F tires. If there is one thing I ask that you guys do when you're upgrading your bike, is get rid of those terrible V-tread tires. They're absolute garbage. I can't say enough about changing the tires. When you're coming around the corner and you have no confidence with those V-treads, they'll put you right into the dirt. With these, you can crack it wide open and put the power down and not have to worry about the front end plowing on you or the rear end sliding out on you. Major difference. Other thing that I have done, yes, I will mention that there was a weak point on this bike, which I have mentioned that in posts and stuff like that in the past. On all of the newer Coleman style bikes, like the B200R or just the B200, even back to the RT200s, they all have really thin posts for the pegs. They're garbage. They're tiny, like little maybe 3/4 inch pipe. They're gonna snap on you. They're gonna break. If you do any kind of hard riding, they will break on you. I upgraded mine to 1 inch. And TIG welded them on, and they're good to go. I mean, they're solid now. I bear all my weight on these things, and I've never had an issue. They haven't bent or anything like that. Once I've done that, it was great. So yeah, I mean, I upgraded my chain. Stock chains are kind of garbage on all the mini bikes. They stretch really far, and I would definitely upgrade the chain if you get a chance. I know I keep saying upgrade, but the stock bikes will get you around just fine. And if you do some mild riding, you're not going to have too many issues. I do some pretty aggressive riding, and I go out pretty often, so these are the reasons why I upgraded this bike. When I lifted it, it added, I don't know, I think I ended up with like 11 and a half inches of ground clearance now, which is awesome, because in stock format you're always clipping this kickstand, and springs go flying off, and you got to zip tie them up to get home. I extended my kickstand to match the height of the bike. I also upgraded my header. I just, with a performance engine, you want to get as much flow as you possibly can. Those stock mufflers are no good. This one was off of it's meant for a Trailmaster. I cut the flange off, reclocked it a little bit to clear my shock, and it's been great. It's definitely loud. I might make a baffle and put a baffle in there and maybe quiet it down a little bit, but so far it's been great. It's away from your leg. You don't have to worry about burning yourself. It's pretty tucked in. And yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. I got to finish hooking up my headlight and brake lights, but you know, I added a switch. I just gotta probably run an M12 battery, and then I'll be good. Well, you know, I got a little brake light back here. It looks like the factory reflector. Just got to get around to doing it. So yeah, this is it. B200RSV. Go out and get one, guys. I mean, it's a really good bike. There's plenty of modifications. It's amazing within the past year the amount of people that are making parts for this thing. I know Redbeard Garage, he makes stuff for it now. Like I said, I shout out Rob Morris. He's making these extensions so you can relocate the swing arm, add some bigger shocks in there, and it's every bit capable as the Trailmaster. Once you get that ground clearance, it's a great bike.